almost there, Louis. Yeah, good enough.
Coming in today, I look forward to seeing all of you in the electrical shop during the tour. Thank you.
For those of you who weren't there, it's John White, who's one of the electrical instructors.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. I booed him the entire time. Ooh, I'll do it again.
Now we're joined by Drew Hayden. Here's his perspective.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Drew Hayden. I'm a junior at Montachusett and a student in MVP's electrical program. When I heard about this new program, I was interested right away. I had applied to Montachusett in 8th grade and again in 9th, and did not get in. Before MVP existed, I wasn't the best student. I got some D's and F's, and regular school was just not for me. This year, I have not only been passing all my classes, but I'm getting A's in both my academic work and my shop work. I am proud to say MVP is the best of both worlds. I get to learn a hands-on trade while still being able to be a student at Narragansett and play sports with all my friends. I'm looking forward to being a senior next year. I plan to go on co-op where I can further my career as an electrician. I'm glad to have this opportunity, and I would like to thank MVP, my teachers, and all 70 schools for creating this opportunity. I know this program will impact so many students because this has already done so for me.
Well, we're going to go right into Nano.
Good morning.
Thanks, Louis. So,
Better the second time.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can see that everybody recognized, both student presentations were fantastic. And the comment that I made after that is, what they spoke about shows why we do these things. This is why this type of project is supposed to be done and everything else. So very pleased with that. So,
That was on FATV, or is that on our?
it's on FATV. There's a miniature version of it on the Montachusett YouTube page. It's not the whole show, but it's pieces of it. Yeah. FAT has the full thing. And guys, the full celebration was 25 minutes, maybe 26, 27 minutes, something like that. So feel free to check it out. So, yes, sir.
I guess, talking about Drew, I actually got a chance after to talk to his parents. They were both there
Yep.
as well. And his dad was so proud of how Drew went from failing to accelerating that he was actually tearing up in the conversation, which was very touching, that I thought, on how our MVP program really, has truly affected these kids' lives forever. And he was so excited, I guess he even told me that he's already been approached by an electrical company, saying when he graduates, they wanted to hire him right away, starting at 25 an hour. And he couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's quite an accomplishment, this program.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, said a couple things.
No, I just want to piggyback on what you're saying. It was a good ceremony, and the place looks fabulous. My hat's off to Kate, you guys, and all the people that are involved getting this thing going. The question I have is, there's a lot of fit up in that building. It's gorgeous. You walk in the front entrance, it's like like a regular technical company with beautiful reception area and everything else. It's fabulous. So the question came to me in my mind is just, the lease is for how long, number one?
It's a 5-year lease.
5-year lease, with all
Yep.
that fitting. Is there an option for 5 more, or first buy,
Yes.
or what?
Yeah, both.
Because,
Yeah, we have both. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves,
No,
but
no.
I think down the road, we should be thinking about buying the place.
I would say so, but,
Yeah.
so, could I ask, I mean, you probably said this before, but what are we paying for a lease a month?
To be honest, for this year, I haven't done the calculation for what this year is, because there is a percentage increase. The original, I want to say, don't hold me to it, was around 16, something like that. I wish Tammy were here, because she would have it off the top of her head.
16,000?
Yeah, for a month. And it's, again, it's been 2 or 3 years since we did the lease, so I gotta think about that a little bit, but I'll get you, I can just send it.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can share it all with
So
you
I'm
guys.
just looking in terms of when you have something like this, and you have the startup costs, you have the grant money, and everything else is going great. As the time goes on, there's no more grant.
Correct.
You have to absorb into the budget.
Correct.
Plus, you're gonna get more students, so you could assess the towns to get more money,
Yeah.
obviously, but still,
Right.
it's a great program. Lucky for Fitchburg, Gardner, and Narragansett. But leave some of the other towns, and hey, what about us?
Yeah, and I
What's
think,
going on there?
I already know someone who keeps telling me that he wants me to, I think, and I will tell you that every time we present this at finance committees and everything else, people say, oh, we'd love to have that as well, and I think we should be looking at that. We're still not even done opening this one yet, technically, because here's the one not so great news from all this, but just so everybody knows. As I mentioned, Liz Bennett, who's the Associate Commissioner for CTE for DESI, is the individual who can decide whether or not we can open the plumbing program. As it stands right now, she is still reluctant to allow us to open the plumbing program.
Did you say any reason?
Not necessarily. What she said was, well, but I said no to other people. And I had done a survey of all the vocational superintendents in terms of who applied for After Dark, or they're now calling it Partnership Program, which, by the way, is the name we came up with that they stole from us. Partnership Program applications. To the best that I know, there were 2 applications. One was Greater Lowell, and they requested to start a painting and design program. which was super helpful for us in terms of Worcester being it. But in terms of, I can understand, Desi said, well, that's really not a forward-moving career or career force. We really wouldn't support that type of, and spend the money on starting that type of program. So that's the one. The only other one that we heard of, and don't hold me to it, I want to say it was Northeast Metro, but it might not be. But they applied, but they were purely putting it in as an exploratory step. They hadn't even decided, okay, what program. They just wanted to get their name going and everything else. To my knowledge, nobody else applied last year. I still vow that it's because no one else knew they could because of the way Desi handled it. But she says that others, she said no to others. I will say that I did find out Friday, we had a MAVA meeting at Skills with the superintendents, and lots of good comments about our ceremony and the facility and the project and everything else. I did find out that apparently Franklin County, down the road, has been trying to start an aviation program for quite some time now. I guess there's an airport not too far from Franklin County Technical School. Through grants, they built a, why can't I think, what do you put planes in? Thank you, a hangar. Geez, couldn't even think about it. And apparently they have, from what Rick Martin said, the superintendent, is they have a program ready to go with this brand new, built up and everything, and it hasn't been approved yet. So they're still waiting. So I'm wondering if that's the I've said no to other people. But that's me 100% speculating. I don't know for sure. I will say this. She did, at MAVA, Liz did come up to me and said, well, Tom, maybe we could do X, Y, Z. And what X, Y, Z was, the idea was basically that, you know, if there's, with the HVAC program, we could get some of the plumbing skills through the HVAC program. And I was kind of confused. And I said, are you talking about up at the main campus? And she said, no, at MVP. And I said, there is no HVAC program at MVP. They were just trying to get the plumbing program. I still will take the fact that she was trying to come up with something as a positive sign. We have a meeting with some of the folks that work for Liz, Vicki and I and some others on Friday, and I'll ask again and see what happens. The one thing I'm holding out for, Bob LePage, the gentleman that was up there, if you remember, we did put in a capital skills grant for that plumbing equipment. We have not been told that we did not get that grant yet. I saw Bob at Skills as well. And I said, listen, you know, has that been released? And he said, actually, no, it hasn't. Nothing's been released yet. And he said, but the good news is, and he listed off 2 or 3 pieces of legislation and said, well, this passed and this passed and this passed. So he said, so we do know that the money is available. So I said, well, when are we going to know? When will people know? And he said, well, we should be letting people know soon. So I think obviously the greatest sign that hopefully there's not a chance is that we hear from ComCore and they say that we get the plumbing grant for the equipment, because then I think it would be hard for Desi to say no to us. So there's a chance.
Just a quick, before Mr. Prasad jumps in, you know Bennett?
Do I know?
She worked at Greater Lowell Tech for me.
Correct, she did.
Yeah.
Well, Greater Lawrence Tech,
At Greater Lawrence?
I think so. Yeah.
So she obviously, she likes the model that they use at Greater Lowell, 11 o'clock start, the whole thing.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
those are the
Yep.
prejudice there, but
Yep.
this is good.
Sure.
Go ahead, sir.
When you say Desi won't approve it, they won't approve the program being started, or they won't approve the money to start the program?
They won't approve the program being started because, if everybody, if you don't recall, we missed the application date. And the reason we missed the application date is, one, first off, when we did the first application, it was a spring application. But still, we were looking to see, so we kept on going to, Desi had an after dark program page that we kept going to look to see when are they gonna release the application. They never did, because that's when they had changed it to partnership program. But they left the after dark page up, so we kept on looking at a page that actually technically was a dead page, but nobody told anybody that. So we missed the application, so technically, we did not apply on time.
For the grant money?
For the program itself, to get the program approved. Now, I know the next thing you're gonna say is, but the program is already up and going, and all it is just a different trade. I tried that angle as well, and so far I've struck out. So, we'll see.
Can we extend our plumbing program into that building for a year or 2?
If we get the equipment, we could consider that, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'd say it's the type of thing we may want to leverage our representatives, like Representative Zlotnick, the mayors, and various communities.
why I've reached out to lots of folks. Yeah. So that's unfortunately the good news, but let's focus on the positive. It's up, it's running, it's going well. Kids are finishing up, seniors will be done in a couple weeks and kind of pick up pace. I didn't give you a list of some of the folks who did attend. Some of the folks had to cancel at the last minute, but I just wanted you to see. That's obviously in the, on the PowerPoint in the presentation and everything else. It is budget season, moving on from MVP. You can see the communities that we visited for finance committees. We did have actually technically our last finance committee just last night. Barry likes to do things a little bit late, but that's okay. And then we have started the town meetings. Tammy and I had 4 town meetings on the first day on Saturday. We bounced around. Thank you to Ross for taking care of us at Westminster because we just couldn't get there, all of them. And then Diane actually covered us when we were presenting for Barry last night at Ashburnham. But all yeses so far. Saw you at Sterling as well, so that was pretty quick and easy for us.
No questions.
Yes, exactly. That's always the good thing. But Phillipston tonight, so technically we're kind of hoping that we're going to be halfway there to the number in the first 4 or 5 days of meetings. But obviously we'll work our way through. We weren't too sure about a couple of them. I think if for Whitney and for Jeff and Royal, for Royalston, we're not sure 100% either. So
I have right here, it says it's the first Saturday after the first Monday in June.
Okay, so
just don't know if
I
I have.
think we're good, maybe. We'll see. But anyhow, so as it is, hopefully by that time we already know that the budget's been accepted, so that's a good thing. Some quick updates, because I know I've got to quickly get to my goals and everything else. So on admissions, the HD 4510 is, again, the main primary focus for folks at MAVA and everything else. That would simply stop the current weighted lottery process that DESI has going to form a coalition to take a look at everything. A very wide coalition. I showed you all the different roles and folks that were going to be on that. Besides the legislation in the House, they added it to the House budget as 2 amendments. So I don't think there's a laser on this, but section 65 and 68 in the amendment section are basically the language of HD 4510 to create that task force. And some of the things that have been going on, so the public comment section did end on April 18th. The rumor is that there's over 2,000 people responded to the public comment, which apparently is way above what they usually get. Purely word of mouth, that DESI is kind of like, oh, wow, there's a lot of people who care about this, a lot more than they kind of thought. So I think they're kind of they're slowing the process down a little bit, but they're still probably scheduled for the May meeting, which, if I remember correctly, is May 20th, to take this up and decide if they're going to vote on the policy itself or not. If either the amendment passes or the bill itself passes in terms of the task force, even if DESI has started the process, it would stop if that were passed. Currently in the Senate, though, there is no similar amendment on the Senate side. So what would have to happen is either a senator has to propose something that has similar language, or when the budgets are being put together, they're going to have to haggle that out between the House and the Senate about if they want to include that language. So we'll see. Tomorrow, Julie's going to send out a document that has some of these links, because Mr. Hurley had mentioned last time to make sure to get some of the links to you guys so you can see everything. The last Board of Ed meeting on April 29th, the folks who are there at the bottom all spoke. Tim Murray, who used to be Lieutenant Governor, he's now head of the chamber for Worcester. 2 school committee reps, one from Tri-County, and I forget which the other school was for the other one. Was it Neshoba? Okay, a vocational parent spoke. Tim Norris, who's the lawyer who represents MAVA, who spoke specifically to what DESI likes to refer to is you have to prove that selective criteria is essential to participation. And what Tim Norris has been saying all along is DESE's definition of essential to participation is completely nowhere near what the actual legal definition is. And that's why, I guess, when they openly asked people on the board and at DESE, please define what you mean by essential to participation, they haven't done it. They never have. So it's very interesting. Dr. Fitzpatrick from Blackstone, who is retiring after 50 years. And I think about 30 of them are as the superintendent. He spoke as well. And then Kevin McCaskill, who's the voc director, or the principal, I'm sorry, at Brockton High School, but they have a vocational piece. Anyhow, I'll send you the link. Highly, highly recommend, especially Tim Murray's presentation. They're all great, but I highly recommend that folks take a look at Tim Murray's because it was just very well done. On another piece, just in case folks had heard about it, they also put out the Board of Ed for public comment. There's some changes to how they're going to be looking at regional agreements. At first, we heard this as if it was a huge panic that, oh my God, they're taking over regional agreements. Tammy and I took a look at it. The example that I gave you up there under commissioner approval is kind of an example of how they showed you the crossouts and the edits and everything else. You will see that in a lot of places they say, you know, for instance, the district will have to get approval from the commissioner. And I think a lot of people were freaked out by that. But when you look and see the language that it replaced, it's kind of putting commissioner in the place of the department or something like that. So it's still language that needs to be looked at. MARS certainly, the Association of Regional Schools, is a little bit concerned about this. And I'll make sure I share this with you when we send it out. But there are some concerns about how DESE, are they going too far? A lot of people have been screaming, home rule, DESE shouldn't be telling these districts what they can and cannot do. So right now, I think the language is worth at least just looking at. It's nothing to panic about, but I want to make sure that you guys all knew that this legislation is being considered. Well, not legislation, this policy is being considered as well. Very quickly, so on my goals, I'm actually talking about my own goals, but I'm also filling in for Eric. So Eric is at the Phillipston Town Meeting, obviously, but he just wanted to be right. I did put Eric's timeline for the evaluation process, and we have already sent out the link, Julie, or the link to the evaluation tool. I did give everybody, I swear to you, because I keep hearing, this is half the size that I gave last year. So I'm doing my best, people.
I was going to ask you, Mr. Brown, if this was the abridged edition.
This is the abridged edition.
Yeah, the print looks a lot smaller than last year.
Well, there you go. That's what it could be. When John comes and visits with Tammy and I the week before to kind of go through the agenda and everything else. And I forget the context, but John had asked, or Tammy, either one of them asked, you know, that someone saw an interview and they asked the people, what's the last book you read? And Tammy said to John, well, you can say it was Toms of Evidence. So thank you very much for that. But hopefully, again, guys, I just try to give you some examples of the things that, this is all pretty much for both my individual goals and the goals that you have chosen. And I just want to make sure I have some evidence. In a lot of cases, you know, if I mentioned the student handbook for MVP that I helped write, kind of wrote, I didn't put the whole thing in there. So you're going to see where there's only like the cover page or a couple others, because again, I want to spare you all the paper and to save paper. Very quickly on my personal goals, I do finish up the NISIP program this year, new superintendent induction program. It's a 3-year program. I've had a very enlightening time, a great time doing it. Part of that is because my coach, Mary Ellen Brunell, the former superintendent at Auburn, has just been fantastic, been a great mentor. You know, some of the evidence that I did provide for you is the cohort, the full cohort. It is sad to look that we're only in year 3, and that cohort is a lot smaller than when it started just a couple years ago, because many folks have already left. Gave you the calendar that we had. What you do in the 3rd year is we do consultancies where for each monthly session, people give a problem of practice. We share it out, and then we work as a team of how we can solve those problems. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Each year, part of my professional practice goal was to make sure that I took an additional course. I did some in special education and in ELL. What I'm doing this summer is I'm going to participate in the Paul Andrews Summer Executive Institute. That is through MASS, Associated School Superintendents. Heard it's a very good conference. I'm looking forward to doing that. So that's kind of the evidence for that. Very quickly on my district improvement goal, Katie and Diana have been fantastic on doing a lot of this work as well. Again, next year, we have our decennial NEASC visit. Those of you who have been around here a lot, NEASC is those of you who have not, NEASC is who accredits all high schools across Massachusetts. What it is it's changed very big in a major way. So what it used to be for NEASC is they would come in and visit your school, they do a visitation team, it would be 10 or 15 people, they take a look at the school, they write a report, then they come back after 5 years and do an update, and then there's a closeout report at the end. They now do NEASC, they come, they visit you, and it's really not the full visit. They just kind of come and get an idea, and they talk about some of the things that they want you to focus on as issues. Then, after that, they wait, is it 2 years, Diana? 2 more years, and then they come back after 2 years to then kind of look at what you're doing. So it's a very big change, but one of the things they're going to be looking for is this vision of a graduate. If you remember in my goals, I talked about core values because I thought they were going to have us do core values. What they're really doing is a vision of the graduate. What skills, what characteristics do we expect as a school community that all our students would possess as they graduate? And that's what this whole process is. So we've started that process. We've formed the committee that's going to build those. That committee has done a survey already that's going out. You will get a copy of that survey, and this is going to help us build what we want to do and decide, are these characteristics, are these traits that we expect all our graduates to have? The interesting piece of this is seniors are going to be happy they're graduating and leaving because they don't have to deal with it. NEASC expects this to be a real document that has impact. Teachers are going to be tasked with assessing students in their classes on these traits, on these characteristics. That's the hardest part. And NEASC admits that's the hardest part. So that's why they think they're going to come, they'll check us out, and then they give you a couple of years to kind of get the vision of the graduate up and going. A lot of districts, at a conference we went to that showed this, a lot of districts do it as an end-of-the-year project where the kid can really demonstrate how they hold those characteristics and everything else. We have to define all that, but we've gotten a lot of work of this done already in place, and I feel like we're going in a great direction, and we should be good on that. And obviously, as we continue that process, we'll keep you updated. And then the last of my goals, obviously, was just MVP. We opened it, so I think we've done okay there. But no, really proud of all the work that we've done at MVP. You're going to see a lot of the stuff that I put in as evidence is stuff that you've already seen through meetings and everything else. I talked about the handbook a little bit that we worked on. We continue to work together as a group, myself and the sending districts. Jasmine Silvera, who's our program manager, works so great with the liaisons from the other districts that we think it's a very strong group. But one of the things you'll see in the packet is the browse pictures we have to take is the certificate of completion that's up on the wall, the certificate of inspection. Technically, our occupancy is temporary, and the only reason it's temporary is one of the rear lift, when it was delivered, was missing a piece. It has nothing to do with anything we did or anything else like that. The folks told us they would take 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks for that piece to get here. It's been sitting in their warehouse for 3 months, so I don't know why nobody went out and looked to see if everything was in there, but they didn't. So anyhow, so the rear, that's supposed to be done the 14th, I think. So anyhow, that's going to be next couple of days. But Fitchburg, like I said, Fitchburg building inspectors went through. They are absolutely fine with opening us, giving us the temporary, just because technically both entrances aren't fully ADA compliant. The front one is, the back one, we still have to finish with that one. So, and that is about it for now. So, anything else? Sorry about that. Took a little bit longer than I might.
Yes.
On this chart where it says homeschool,
Yep.
is there a reason why that's broken out instead of, is it just because it's not the middle school? Like, do we know what town those?
Yeah, no, I didn't get each individual. So homeschool is literally just the kids who were homeschooled and everything else.
Okay.
So I didn't have each individual student at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
For your evaluation in our comments, did you say we already got the form?
Uh,
I emailed them to all of you this evening before
Yeah.
I emailed here.
Yeah, it's the same Google form that you had last year. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Eric says if anyone has questions, feel free, you can contact him, email him, whatever, so. Thank you very much.
All right. Out-of-state field trip.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move that the district committee votes to approve an out-of-state field trip for 121 veterinary science students to travel to Mystic, Connecticut on May 21st, 2025 to observe the marine biology, sea lion training, and marine mammal stranding.
Discussion. Yes, sir.
Do we have 121 veterinary science students?
That would be a questionable number. Yeah, I'm
22
guessing
per
that's,
grade.
I'm guessing that's a typo.
Probably 21.
Yeah, it's probably 21.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, I amend my motion to 21.
Good catch, Ross.
Who seconded it?
We have a second somewhere.
Second here.
Yeah,
All right.
Bob Campbell.
Moved and seconded to be amended as 20.
It now says 21 veterinary students.
I'm sorry, what was that,
It
Julie?
now says 21.
21?
Yep.
Okay. So we're all in agreement on 21.
Yes.
Okay, anything else? If not, you can call a vote.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move that the district committee accept a donation from Peter Russell of Hubbardston of tiles of various sizes and types for the masonry shop with a value of $300.
Seconded, any discussion? If not, you want to call it?
I did a second, sorry.
Mr. Raymond, I believe.
Yep.
Somebody down there, right?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move that the district committee approve a 3-year lease with Xerox starting July 1st, 2025 for 5 copiers in an annual amount of $99,359.88 for a total lease amount of $298,079.64.
Is there like a cap on the number of pages that can be printed? I
Not,
just went through this at work.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move that the district committee approve the 3-year lease starting July 1st, 2025 with Insight Financial Services for freshman Chromebooks with an annual cost of $71,361.76 in a total amount of $214,085.28.
that's over on that one for now.
Sorry, you want to amend your motion?
I don't have the number off the top of my head.
Should I rescind my motion and we can do it next?
Yeah.
I'll withdraw my motion for this meeting.
Second.
All right.
I think it has to come from the seconder.
Sorry, we don't know what that motion is.
I don't have, the number isn't good for
thanks to Barbara for all the help she's given me over the years. It's been good to sit near you. I also was disheartened to see the lack of views on our YouTube broadcast for our school committee meetings. Very few in the last few months. I wonder if it was all worth it.